Seine. Thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me featuring some new and new to me products. This video has sponsored integrated content in partnership with Merit Beauty, and I am thrilled to be working with Merit again. I worked with them when they first launched, and we are revisiting some of their products as well as trying out a couple of new to me products. So I do want to mention there's a special going on right now for a limited amount of time if you wanted to take advantage. There are 3 items available right now. It's called the base set, and I'm looking here just to make sure. I always want to make sure I'm saying the right things. The set is comprised of 3 items. So you have the brush, and I love this brush. It's the #1 brush, the winner of Allure's Best of Beauty Awards 2021. I love pairing this with their complexion product, which we will talk about in a moment. This one right here, I just use it, so I'll show you this in action. Again, works really well under here, at the sides of the nose. Really great partner to the complexion stick. This densely packed brush effortlessly blurs any face products. So I use this with the complexion stick as well as the other product, the bronzer that I'm going to talk about in a moment. Bronzer is new to me. It says it's based on their top-selling Flush Balm formula. So it is a lovely, very different kind of formula for a bronzer. It's got more of a balmy texture, which I really liked. You'll see how it melts into skin when I apply it. They sent over 2 shades because I always like to compare shades that are kind of close together or kind of difficult to decipher and especially predict how they will look on the skin. So I've got 2 shades for you today. Really beautiful packaging on these. The gold is lovely, really sleek. I like that. I've got the shade Clay and Seine, and Clay is a cooler tone and Seine is a warmer tone. Clay's on top, Seine is on the bottom, and then I've swatched them for you as well so you can see Clay first and then you can see Seine next, right next to each other. I think that really helps with the undertone. So we're trying those out today. I've got them both on, and then I figured out which one was going to work best. And then we have the Minimalist, which I talked about earlier, and they call this neither a foundation nor a concealer, but it serves as both. Use it only where you need it, and that's what I love about this because you know I do a spot concealing patchwork kind of thing when I apply. So I don't put makeup everywhere, just where I need it. So that definitely aligns with my philosophy of makeup, less is more. You'll be able to see how it evens out my skin tone, how it's lightweight. So I just have this strategically added onto my face right now. Again, not everywhere else. So you can get all 3 of these products, the brush, the complexion stick, and the bronzer for $88 on the Merit site. I will leave a link below, of course. It's for a limited time. Typically this is $98, so it's a $10 savings, which I think is great because these are things that you'll use over and over. This is my 2nd complexion stick I've been on, and then this balm, I'm gonna really enjoy using this. So you'll get to see that, of course, applied. So Merit has won so many awards. They've got the POPSUGAR's Brand of the Year, Cosmopolitan's 2021 Beauty Awards, and it also won an award for Self in 2021 for the Minimalist and the #1 brush. There are many more awards. I will list them below if you're interested. And again, I'll leave the link below, $88 for 3 of the products that I just mentioned. I wanted to mention every order comes with a signature bag and ships free with every first order. And there's free shipping on orders over $40 as well as free returns. So if you buy that bundle, shipping is included. I'm also trying out the Tweed blush. This is only available, I believe, in Europe right now. It's not available in the US, but I picked it up while I was in Italy, so I wanted to try out with a Tweed palette. And then we're going with palette #3, which was more highly requested than any of the other palettes. I think maybe to get some ideas about application, because this one to me wasn't automatically intuitive in terms of how to use. So we've got that on today. Also, I don't want to forget, I'm trying the Tower 28 mascara that a lot of you got excited about, and I totally forgot to use it in my last video. So I was excited to try this out today. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting off as usual, Chantecaille's Anti-Pollution Mattifying Cream. And just in the center. Going with Suede, which can be a little bit more color for me in the winter especially, but I think right now is a good shade match. Super fast too. Yeah, I think that the brush and this, if you're gonna get this, get the brush because the brush maximizes this product for sure. Then I'm gonna build it up just a little bit more, but you can go in with a sheer layer like I just did for super fast, get out the door kind of makeup. So you can see how quick and really nice that coverage is. Lovely. So I'm going to finish up the other side. And I will often take this, especially quick trips, because it's such a convenient kind of packaging. Again, this brush just fits perfectly in this eye area. So it's a really wonderful shade match for the summer for me. We have a couple of the bronzing balms, and I wasn't sure which shade was going to be best, which is why I picked two, and then we can try them side by side. So again, we have Clay, which on swatch you saw was a little cooler. I'm going to just apply this, it says to the hollow parts of the face. So right there, it's more of a translucent, really lovely kind of bronzer. I'm just taking the #1 brush. So around the perimeter here. So this is Clay, and I actually think it's suitable for my skin tone. It's, again, more natural though, so it's not gonna be a really big contrast, but definitely shows up because this side doesn't have any, but it's cooler. So let me just swipe it really clearly so you can see the color. It's probably more than I would apply, but really natural. So if you want something a little cooler, here, this is Clay again. And then Seine. Seine is the other one, which is warmer. So we're gonna go over here with this one. So again, this is Clay and this is Seine. So you can see the difference. Clay over here, Seine is gonna be over here. So you can see the color here and definitely visible on my skin. So I think any deeper might be a little too deep, unless you like that contrast. But for me, this is good. So I feel like if you really like their blushes, you'll really like this because it's more of that consistency rather than a cream per se. So Clay versus Seine. Clay versus Seine. Yeah, I really like it though, it's pretty. Very, very pretty, natural. I think this definitely aligns with the aesthetic of this entire line, which is really natural, effortless kind of makeup. And this is definitely one of those products, but let me go ahead and powder, add some eyebrows. We'll move to eyes. So I went in with the brows with the Dior Show Onset Brow in 32, as well as the Florist's Brow Pencil. And then I went in with a little bit more of the Merit Complexion Stick, just targeted right there. And then went in with this powder, the Perfect Blur Powder by Chantecaille. So it really brings everything together. I went in with Seine and evened out the bronzer as well. So I kind of have both shades here and then just Seine over here. I really enjoyed that bronzer product in case you wanted to try it. I know so many of you love that effortless kind of look, and this is what that is. So very easy to use, very natural looking. Okay, let's go ahead with the eye. So we've got here #3. I think this is the one I had the most requests about. Appears to be a little bit more tricky to use, and it does. I have to say, out of all of the palettes, this is one I have to think a little bit harder about how I'm going to use this one. So let's kind of experiment together because I haven't tried it. But let's go in with this shade first. Oh, let me see. Let's just see. Oh yeah. Oh wow. No. Let's go in with we'll go in with the peach shade first. This one. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a more sheer shade with more sparkle, so I just needed to check. Oh, by the way, I just took a little of that excess complexion stick product that was on the brush and went over my eyelids. So I didn't use my primer as usual. I went in with the just excess or whatever was left on the brush for the complexion stick. Oh, what a pretty shade. I think that's really beautiful. Yeah, if you like peach, you'll probably really like that one. Let's go ahead now with this shade, this more like burnt umber shade. I'm gonna add that to the crease. Okay, so right now just these two shades reminds me of that Dior palette, the one that had like 3 shades in it. It was like a gold and a, I'll see if I can pull it out, but it had these kinds of shades in it. It just kind of reminds me of that. Not the finish, but the actual just shades. Yeah, it's like the Blossom palette or something. I just saw it the other day, so let me pull it out for you. But that's more like a vibrant peach than what it looks like in here. Let's go in with this shade. And I'm curious if it's got more of a burgundy shade or what it has going on here. Let's take a look. Because if it is, let's see. Okay, that's pretty. And then let's take a little bit of that underneath as well. Just slightly. Just like that, super quick. Plus it's really hot in here, so I'm going a little bit faster than normal. I'm gonna take though this goldish shade right here, this one. Let me just add that to the lid, see how that looks. It's like a marigold. Oh wow, okay. It's a pretty marigold shade. Fix this, make sure we're blended here. Quick, pretty, I like that. Okay, different though than the other ones I've tried. I'm gonna take this deepest shade across as if it were an eyeliner, just right here. Just kind of buffed out too. Okay, I'm gonna even these out and let me go find that palette I was talking about. Okay, I found the palette I was talking about. This one by Dior called Coral Glow. Last year I think it came out, or was it the year before? I can't remember. But here is the Coral Glow next to the Chanel. So you can see there, and then I swatched a couple of the shades that reminded me of each other. They are not exactly the same though. So this is the Dior versus the Chanel, and Dior's got more shimmer in it, yeah, and it's lighter than the Chanel. And then this is the Dior shade, it's pinkier than the Chanel. Chanel's got like a rustier tone to it. So they are different, they just reminded me of each other. And if you have that, then you know that they are not exactly the same. We're gonna go in with the Tower 28 mascara. I meant to try this the other day and I totally forgot I had it. But I know some of you are really excited about this because it's got sensitive eyes in mind. And this is the first time I'm trying it. So we're gonna get some first impressions here. So far I like the brush. I like that it's curved. I do like a good plastic brush like this. I feel like it separates really well. It's getting the angle of my eye really well, the curvature. Sometimes they're curved, but they don't really help, but this one seems to be really snug against my eye. Oh, I forgot to mention, I used, well, that's nice. I used an eyeliner by Isam, another of these dual-ended ones in Garnet, and I didn't use the other side. I might though, because I think it'll go really well with this. This is Garnet. Yeah, I think this is fire. The goldish shade, let's put that on the waterline, because it reminds me of that marigold shade. Oh, that's really pretty. I really like these Isam eyeliners. They've actually come in really handy with these Chanel palettes because they complement them really well. So I think I've used maybe 3 of them so far. Let's try and build this up a little bit more. I'm very picky with mascaras and I know pretty quickly if it's gonna work or not. Ooh, okay, Tower 28, that is impressive. Really easy to apply, really nice separation, length, volume all at once. Love that. Okay, let's go on the bottom, see what happens. That applied quite nicely on the bottom lashes as well. Nice. That was quick application too. Usually I'm like applying layers and layers. That was really pretty. But you can see the difference mascara makes on me. Let's go ahead and even these up. So I really like the mascara. It did a nice job, quick application. It did a good job of lifting my lashes. I don't use a curler usually. So this is without a curler. And oh, I went in with a little bit of La Prairie just to brighten. So La Prairie concealer. I'm gonna go in with this blush. I haven't tried it. It's the one I picked up from Italy. It's only available, I think, in Europe. It is not available in the US. It was available, I believe, at one time, but it's no longer available. But I was really curious about it. It is in 90 Tweed Pink Paradise, but I feel like with the Tweed palettes, now would have been a nice time to come out with the blushes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I see something go by about Tweed blushes somewhere? Or was I dreaming? I don't remember, but sometimes you get little hints of maybe what's coming out here and there. Let me know what you know. But this is a pretty pink shade. I don't know how well it's going to go with this eye, but it was a prettiest shade that I found when I looked at all the shades. There's a little bit of shimmer in here, so let's try it. But it's a really pretty tweed texture to it, the embossing on there. Oh, it's definitely pink, pretty. Yeah, it's got more of a glow than, say, some of the other blushes in this range with Chanel. Pretty. I do see some intermittent shimmer though. There's something sparkly catching the light, which is not my favorite kind of thing, but I like the glow. The overall glow is pretty. So I think you can definitely take this palette more pink rather than warm if you want, depending on what else you add to it. Not it, but to your face. I'm just gonna sweep it up above as well. Tie everything together there. Pretty. Yeah, that's a lovely, lovely blush. Okay, let's go in with one of my new Lisa Eldridge lipsticks that I really am enjoying. So this is Velvet Blush. I feel like a lip like this brings that palette into fall just a little bit more. Okay, then I'm just gonna take that blush brush and dust a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury powder. I've been trying this out since I tried it on in that first video, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna use it as a kind of a topper just to blur. It does a nice job of blurring. I avoid it under my eyes though. It doesn't seem to work as well under my eyes as it does right here in the front of my face. So you can see how pretty that looks. Just perfects. So I am liking it with the Perfect Blur powder. So Perfect Blur powder and then this additional perfecting and a little bit of a glow. This is the Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finish Powder by Charlotte Tilbury. This one is in the one that is the white shade. It says fair medium and then I think it says white, but that seems to work for me. Okay, so I think you could see how effortless these are to use, these Merit products. Again, I highly recommend the brush if you're going to get this. So that's already 2 of the products. And then this was a really nice bronzer, very different than any bronzer I've tried before. I don't think I have anything that's this balmy texture. Let me think. I don't have anything at least balmy in a stick form, I'm gonna say. I've got to think about this one, but I really can't think of one right now. But it went on really effortlessly, glided on, was smooth, meshed with the skin. Very easy product to use, and I think you could see the difference between clay and Seine. I think it's really cool versus warm because you could see both of them on my skin tone, but I think I would go in with Seine myself. I think it was really pretty. So again, $88 for these 3, otherwise it's typically $98. As for the Chanel palette, really beautiful. You have to like this kind of color story though. I think it's different than a lot of things out there. It's really quite fall once you go in with this deeper shade here. I thought that was really beautiful. Easy to use as well, just like the other palettes I've used. The blush was pretty. I wish I had picked up more in Italy. Let me know if you know anything about tweed blushes. And lastly, this Tower 28 mascara, beautiful. I really loved it. It's hard for me to be impressed with a mascara, but I was quickly impressed with this. I'm going to watch for flaking, transfer, things like that go along with testing a mascara. I will let you know. I'm going to put this in my top shelf, continue to use it daily, and let you know how it goes over the next couple weeks or so. I will try it out for you. Thank you again so much, Merit Beauty, for partnering with me on this video. I will leave all the information below, but that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.